So first of all, I wanted to thank everyone that is listening, and also Responsible Tourism and well, I don't know how to pronounce the name of the other organization, but thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be here. For my today's speech, I will share the screen, as my mother language is not English, as it's evident. So in this way, I think it will be better and more easier to understand what I want to say today. So 1 second, please. Okay, I think that now you're seeing my screen, right? Can you do like thumbs up? Okay, thank you. 1 minute, please. Okay, so yeah, thank you everyone for being here. It's a pleasure to be here sharing the studies we made from Alba Sud. I was a co-author of one of the reports I'm going to talk today, but the other report is from Ernest Cañada, that is the coordinator of Alba Sud, and he's also a well-known researcher. So, first of all, I wanted to say that tourism is a highly feminicized sector with high indexes of precariousness. So what happens when we cluster the feminization and the precariousness concept entails diverse manifestations of gender inequality that have not been profoundly explored. In Alba Sud, we have published a report that is a bibliographic review of 15 manifestations of gender inequality, that now you can see it in the screen. And I wanted to say also that our research has a differentiating factor, that is that we apply the approach of intersectionality. That it's a concept created by Kimberly Crenshaw that focuses on who is missing. That it's a question you can see on the screen. So posting this question, the idea is to cross gender with other categories, such as ethnicity, migratory status, class, age, level of education, sexual orientation, among others, because we women don't enjoy the same privileges. So it's important to analyze gender with these other variables. In this report, the one you can see on the screen, we talk about the double burden, job segmentation by gender and race, atypical recruitment, occupational health, physical standards, and many other manifestations of gender inequality. So if you want to know more about these specific topics more in detail, because today I don't have enough time to explain them all, please do not hesitate to check our website. This report is in English version, so you will not have any problem to read it. Okay, the other report I wanted to talk today, and I really want to focus on this one, is a report published in 2019 by Ernest Cañada. As I said before, it's the coordinator of Alba Sud, and also he's a well-known researcher, which analyzes the transformation of gender relationships in community-based tourism. CBT means community-based tourism, if someone doesn't know. And yeah, it's focused on Central America. So all the experiences he analyzed on this report are located in the countries in Central America. Well, first of all, I want to say that there is no consensus on the effects that community-based tourism has on gender relations and how tourism could help women's empowerment. In this report, Cañada points out 3 different perspectives that you can read on the screen, that are the optimistic outlook, the corrective technique, and also the pessimistic. So now I'm going to tell you a little bit more about these 3 different outlooks. So the optimistic approach points out only the positive aspects that community management of tourism in rural contexts has got on women. For example, some of the benefits are the capacity of promoting gender equality, social inclusion, and increase of social value and recognition of their work. Also, tourism has facilitated empowerment processes through its business involvement in tourism, increasing women's income, autonomy and community participation, job creation and acquisition of new abilities, and also the creation of network between women, and also get in touch with different people, talk with tourists, but also with members of other communities, and have like more a public life. I don't know if you can understand what I mean. So some research highlights that this community-based tourism has facilitated these dynamics and have helped to transform gender roles and the gender division of work. For example, men could learn to cook, clean, or take care of children, while women work as tour guides or have more participation in this public sphere I was talking before. However, I have to say that in some experiences, the effects have been completely different, generating violent domestic situations. So the other outlook is the corrective technique. And this approach also points out the positive aspects of this tourism for women, but highlights the necessity of including gender perspective in tourism planning, and also a technical assistance to reach these significant changes. That means that gender inequalities have to be taken into account when you're planning this tourism activity. And also you have to make sure that these decisions will help the interest of the different groups of the community. Doesn't care if they are women or men, but to take into account all the different interests. Also, some researchers underline the importance of applying this gender perspective even in regional and national tourism policies, not just when you're planning the specific tourism experience, but also in the politics, like more general ones. And to finish, I want to present the pessimistic vision, that this vision argues that women's participation on community-based tourism has reproduced the structures of inequality or even worsens the situation of these women in these communities. It is underlined that their job participation, its focus on tasks that could be considered an extension of housework as cooking, cleaning, welcoming the tourists, very in the domestic sphere, no? And that tourism has not necessarily been a tool to break these gender roles with their husbands, for example, or even in the community. Also, in some occasions, tourism has provoked an intensification of women's tasks during the day. So, moreover, the increase of women's income doesn't necessarily mean that their situation is improved. Having more money doesn't mean that your situation and the gender roles are like broken. Even women, when they have this, when they have more economic resources and autonomy, their subordination, it's not only a result of this economic dependence. It is also, it also affects the ideological system with this like unshakable rules and habits. So there are more things to take into account. And additionally, sometimes in this pessimistic view, the researchers say that sometimes this technical support, this person, contributes to reproduce some gender inequalities. So, having said that, the variety of contexts influence the diversity of results. As I said, there are different experiences with totally different results, and the three of them are possible and are true. So different management systems of tourism and the community and where and from whom comes the initiative can also modify these results. So in conclusion, in this report, what Cañada detects are three possible scenarios based on these analyzed experiences in Central America. The first scenario, that you can see it on the screen, is characterized by centralized collective management structures where men have a lot of control and gender relations do not really experience big changes. The second possible situation happens when tourism is managed by a family unit. In these cases, the transformation is subject to the level of participation of women, and normally it's translated by an intensification of tasks. And the redistribution of domestic tasks is limited. And the third possible scenario is when women are in charge of developing and leading these tourism projects with a feminist perspective, that this is very important to take into account. In this case, the transformation of gender relations and also these empowerment processes are more frequent. So, as you can imagine, this debate is block. All visions are right, as I said before, and looking for more cases and more tourism experiences to analyze is kind of useless if we don't introduce these new variables I was presenting today. First of all, it's important to know how the tourism initiative is organized. And second, if from the very beginning of the activity was planned with this purpose of improving this woman's situation by generating employment. It's important to know how is it organized. From this feminist perspective since the beginning.
Ja, es ist sie. Gib mal den Schuld. Okay.
So, thank you for the very interesting input you gave us. Also vielen Dank für diesen spannenden Input, den wir erhalten haben. Leider haben wir hier im Saal, hatten wir kurzzeitig ein Problem mit dem Internet, deshalb haben wir nicht ganz alles mitbekommen. Der Bericht, den die Carla erwähnt hat, möchte ich doch gerne, wenn es möglich ist, auf dem Chat hochladen. Ich werde das vielleicht nachher noch tun. Aber als erstes möchte ich mal fragen, ob es Fragen gibt, schon im Chat, bei Fragen und Antworten, Lisa? Gibt es dort keine Fragen?
Weil noch nichts, nein.
Also nur Mut fragt, meldet euch. Gibt es im Saal Fragen, die jetzt in dieser kurzen Sequenz, die ihr mitbekommen habt, die ihr gerne an Carla stellen möchtet?
Haben Sie etwas zu Stichproben, wenn Sie die Projekte Sie untersucht haben?
Gibt es irgendwelche Angaben zur Stichprobengröße, wie viele Projekte ihr untersucht habt? Also ich denke, das betrifft jetzt vor allem die Studie von Ernest Cañada. Das ist eine Frage aus dem Raum hier. Das ist, Carla, did you understand the question? Can you switch on your microphone?
Yeah, sorry, I lost my internet connection, but I think that now it's working. I didn't have time to finish my presentation, but no problem. The question, yeah, how many experience Cañada analyzed? Let me check it. 7 different experiences with different results, as I was presenting.
So did we understand that Ernest Cañada, he took 7 different community-based tourism projects and analyzed all the interviews done with the people involved in this tourism-based, community-based tourism projects?
Yeah, exactly. He first did like a biographic research of how community-based tourism can modify or transform these gender roles. And after that, he analyzed 7 different experiences with 7 different results. One of them were very positive for this empowerment of women, and others were not as positive as these ones. And he detected this, that you have to, when you analyze these gender transformations, you have to apply more variables, such as how the community is managed, how the tourism activity is developed, and also if the tourism activity was planned from the very beginning with this gender perspective or feminist perspective. If you want to check the report, it's available online and free, as all the reports we publish in Alba Sud, but I'm afraid that this one is not translated in English, so it's just in Spanish.
I'll try to, otherwise we can send the links to the different studies after the event. Ich habe eine Frage an Carla, und zwar sagst du, dass die Tourismuswirtschaft von den ungleichen Geschlechterverhältnissen profitiert. Aber um es noch ein bisschen klarer zu sagen, wie muss ich mir das jetzt, wie allgemein muss ich mir die Verbreitung von Diskriminierung und von Ausbeutung von Frauen im Tourismus vorstellen? Ist das ein Problem von ein paar schwarzen Schafen bei den Tourismusunternehmen? Oder ist es etwas, was sich auch in dem Hotel abspielen könnte, das ich jetzt gerade irgendwo gebucht habe? Ist es ein Problem, das es vor allem im globalen Süden betrifft, oder ist es ein Problem, das ich zum Beispiel auch in England, Spanien, Schweiz antreffen könnte?
I think it's a global phenomenon that women experience these gender inequalities. And as I said before, if you analyze these manifestations of inequality with other variables, such as ethnicity, migration status, level of education, class, many of them, you get even more inequalities. It's like a bag that you put some stones in it. So we have to really take into account the privilege we have, each one of us. And I don't know if I understood the question, but it's not that the tourism sector takes advantage of these inequalities. Well, it does, but it's like the society, it's constructed with these inequalities, and what the tourism sector does, that knows these inequalities, sometimes it perpetuates it. For example, when women get a job, they are normally only have access to part-time contracts, for example, and they say that it's something good for you because then you can deal with the family obligations you have, but they are actually putting you in this place. automatically. Also, for example, the working conditions of the women's cleaning the hotels. I don't know the name in English. I think it's
Housekeeping.
The housekeeping department, that it's a really feminicized department. They work in really bad conditions. They have a lot of physical pain, and also they experience a lot of stress, and it's not casual that it's formed by 99% of women. And also in the tourism sector, women a lot of times has this image of beauty and desire, and they also take advantage of that, and not just in countries in the south, also here in Spain with the hostesses in events, for example, they like take advantage of this image and they play with that, and they discourse. The thing that I personally criticize is that the discourse is also positive. It's always positive, and sometimes it's not as positive as it seems, you know.
So the discourse, who is at the head of this discourse? Positive.
I will say, like, it's not only the company, because you as a company can decide to have like more equal regulations for your workers. As a company, you can decide that to have more same salaries and also the same possibilities to improve. I think it's something bigger that how society and the sector in general is constructed, but not just one only enterprise or another. It's something more general that you can find out